So let's talk really quick about workout programs. I've changed what I've been doing pretty drastically as of late. So for the last 2 years, I've pretty much been doing a push-pull legs, and then with every compound movement, I would do a heavy lift. So I would do 3 to 5 reps for squat, bench, deadlift, pretty much. Sometimes OHP, overhead press, standing. But I've really changed my style of training over the last month, and I've changed in terms of my actual workout split, what I'm doing, because I'm allowing more variance and more flexibility because of injuries, because of my scheduling, how things are going. I got so much going on right now, so it's kind of hard, and I try to get in everything 2 times a week if I can. Sometimes I can't, but sometimes other things has to take priority, and so I'm not gonna stress myself out more than I have to be, because the last 2 weeks have been beyond stressful. And you probably see my blood blisters. I had a dunk contest the other day, and now, I have all these blood blisters from the rim, and it's pretty gross. But the biggest change that I made was staying away from the heavy compounds, aside from deadlifts like the last week that I did because I was going through some shit and I wanted to destroy some heavy weight. And so I've just backed off. I haven't been doing bench press, heavy bench press. What I did instead was I changed to incline dumbbells. So both in terms of safety and less snappability risk, but also I just wanted to get off that old way of training because I'm a bodybuilder. I train for mass. I don't train for strength. It's really ego. It's very ego driven, and that's the way that I was training. I was worried about my bench press numbers and my deadlift numbers, and it's like, I don't train for that, so what does it matter? I'm not doing competitive lifts. I just want to get mass. And so I kind of changed my rep ranges, and instead of doing that, I tossed out the bench press, replaced it with basically incline. I don't really do any flat work anymore, at least for now. I do flat dumbbell press, I do incline dumbbell press. I do also, another thing I added in was I sit on like the lowest incline possible. Sometimes I go flat, I guess, with it, but I grab the dumbbells and I put them together. So they're braced together, and then I press up and I contract my chest. So you're kind of getting the fly movement from the inner chest, and also you're hitting the pec major, of course, because you're pressing anyway. So it's pretty nice. I really like that one. Usually I do about 47.5, 45 pounds-ish. And I just rep it out. I do like 3 or 4 sets, just burning that shit out, and it's lethal, and it's really good. And then sometimes I do like cable crosses. Rear delts also, I feel like, needs to get an update, because rear delts have been my bread and butter, and that's been the biggest thing that's changed my delts and given kind of that 3D effect. Because you have 3 delts, 3 heads of your delts: your anterior, posterior, and also your medial delt. And most people hit the front delt and the medial delt, but they don't hit their posterior delt, and so you have a lot of muscular imbalances, not only visually but also mechanically. So people injure themselves a lot doing bench press, or maybe doing rows, or maybe doing wide grip pull downs, and this is because they don't train the rear delts, and it's a huge problem. And for your longevity, you really need to hit them. So what I've been doing is basically 3 or 4 sets. I do seated and place the dumbbells underneath my feet, and I fly out like that, destroys them. Or I go on an incline, put the bench up to an incline, and I lay with my chest on the bench and I fly out like that. That one's really good. Or face pulls, those work as well, as long as you're doing it correctly and you feel it in your posterior delts. So the back part of your shoulder right here, this big slab of meat. I've been doing pull-ups more, which is weird because I avoided pull-ups for the longest time, and not doing them and then going back to doing them again is humbling, to say the least, especially because I'm heavier than I was prior to the last time I was doing pull-ups, because I'm much heavier now than I was then. I put on a lot of size, which is good. But that's the main thing, is just focusing on what's important. And I suppose the last thing that I changed, well, of course I'm flexible in terms of the training days. So if I need to take a specific day off because of maybe errands I gotta run, or if I gotta get work done or something, or maybe I wake up later, then I just adjust, and no harm done. But if something, because I've been dealing with a lot of injuries, like with my hip, and also I potentially, because I didn't go to a doctor, so I have to say potentially, tore 2 ligaments in my ankle. So I haven't trained legs in about a month, except for last week, which I did finally, and it was much needed, and it was so stressful because I could see the atrophy, and I could tell that my legs are weaker, but it comes back, and it's just, I haven't been able to squat or deadlift really But we're getting back into it, and I'm avoiding the heavy squats. I say I'm avoiding the heavy deads now, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes, because I love deadlifting heavy. But squats is more so to improve my form and functionality, and I need to work from the ground up. So I got to do legs Wednesday, and I'm planning on doing 185 for like 10 sets of 10. I'm going to be sore as hell. And then slowly work up. Maybe I'll do 195 next week, 10 sets of 10. Then maybe 205 or maybe 225, and then we'll see. But I really want to ease into it and make sure that I can keep my form as strict as possible, as good as possible, and really feel the muscle, because the mind-muscle connection is really important. That's one thing I'm really focusing on. Now I'm going to talk about the last training technique that I've really implemented that has changed my physique dramatically, and that is occlusion training. So I used to do this back in the day. You could probably see my old videos where I used to tie my fucking like right under my shoulders off, and then I would do like curls or something. So that's blood flow restriction training, occlusion training. And there's some research supporting a boost in endogenous growth hormone. Like your body's like, okay, we got to produce more GH, and then, you know, with the trapping of oxygen, it provides more nutrients and oxygen to the muscles. I don't know if I so much buy that, but I really like the pump that the occlusion training gives me. I just feel like the results are better, and I think they speak for themselves. So basically what that is, there's like medical tourniquets you could buy online through Amazon, or you could use knee wraps, which I've been using lately because my medical tourniquets, one of them broke and then I lost them. So I don't know where they are right now. I think they might be in one of my bags somewhere, one of my gym bags, but you just tie it off pretty tight, and then you pick a weight that you could do relatively easy, 30 reps. And then the next set, you'll rest 10 seconds, then you'll keep the bands on, and then you do 12, and then you rest 10 seconds, then you do 12 reps, then you rest 10 seconds, then you do 12 reps, then you rest 10 seconds, then you do 12 reps, or 15 if you can. And the pump is painful as hell, and I've cried a bunch of times actually in the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks doing this, because I'm just destroying myself, pushing myself to the max. It's painful, but you know what? I want the results, so I'm gonna put in the work, and I'm done training like a little bitch. And that's how people train, is they train weak and soft, and I don't want to be like that. I want to be an alpha, so I train like one. And I think that does phenomenally in terms of muscle growth, and I do that at the end of my workouts. Anytime I train biceps or triceps, that's always the last thing I do. So I do my full workout, and then at the end I throw that in, and I think it's paid dividends. And I've also really focused on form, specifically with back and bicep movements, because it's easy to start throwing around weight, not paying attention, especially curls. You start using your shoulders, you start using your back. Some people are using their legs when they're curling, and you're not getting the stimulus, first of all, and you're using way too much weight, you're throwing it around. It turns into a compound movement. It's specifically to target the biceps. So why are you using other parts of your body? Why are you using too much weight than you can actually do? So, and I suppose that's really the biggest changes that I've made. And being aware that I need to lift heavier weights on accessory movements every single week, or every single 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, or maybe even every month. I just need to be getting stronger and keeping myself in mind, because it's easy to progress with the big lifts, but things like, you know, hammer curls or barbell curls, it's really hard to do the progression, because you are more likely to sacrifice form in order to lift heavier weight. So it's hard thing to keep in mind. But that's one thing I'll find myself doing, hammer curls with 35 pounds. I'm like, dude, I was doing this 3 years ago. What are you doing? This is too easy. It's simple. So then I'll bump up to like 42.5, and I'm like, all right, as long as my form's still good, I'm good to go. And then depending on if my form's good and if I get the number of reps I want, then I could either stay at that weight for one more week or then go up to another weight. So the key is progress. Progressive overload is the key to gains. My workout split pretty much, like I said, it alternates a little bit. Usually I like to do like chest and arms together, and then back and shoulders together, then legs, then take off. And then maybe I'll do like chest and triceps, and then a back, shoulder, bicep, and then I'll do legs again, and then take off. Kind of depends. There's a little bit of leeway for that, but I like that because sometimes I don't have enough time to, you know, do all of that in a matter of an hour, hour and a half, and it's hard. But just get in what I can, try to get everything 2 weeks if I can, and then I'm good to go. So I'm gonna end this video. Hope you maybe learned something, or just, I guess, listen to what I'm doing differently, because different perspectives of all the different training programs I've tried. You know, I found some really good ones, and there were some that gave me great results. There were some that I hated, wholeheartedly. There were some that I hated that gave me good results, but you have to enjoy the training that you do. And if you don't enjoy the training that you do, what's really the point? You know, not to say that you don't have to do movements like lunges that suck ass horribly, they suck, or squats. I hate squats, but you gotta do them. And that's not to say that your whole program has to suck like that, but you have to put in work at some point. And you know, you can't skip out on the important lifts, and you can't just do the movements that are easy, only machine workouts. Nah, you got to do free weights. So I'm going to close this out so I don't end up rambling for 30 more minutes. I'll talk to you guys really soon. Peace out.